Melissa, what I thought was really interesting is that this character is somebody you created many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, about 15 or 16 years ago at the Groundlings Theater, which is the little improv theater in Los Angeles. It's actually where I met my husband, Ben. Coincidentally, it's also where I met Kristen's husband, Dax, way before they even met. So it's like we all go back. Steve Mallory, that we wrote the film with, we met there. And I did Michelle Darnell in one of the shows, and just everything about her made sense to me. I knew how she walked, how she talked. I mean, from the second I thought of her, I thought, I got her. I know everything about her in my head. I had such a strong reaction to her. I knew how confident she was. I knew how good she was at her job. I knew that she was really in control of her world. And I had an absolute blast doing it on stage. And then I proceeded to talk about her for the next 15 years of my life. And Ben was always saying, like, my God, this was 5 years ago, and you're still talking about this character. 7 years ago, 9 years ago. I'm like, I think her childhood was really, really tough. He's like, are we still talking about a character you played 10 years ago at Groundlings? I'm like, yeah, I really am. I think about her all the time. He's like, oh my gosh. So when the opportunity came up and somebody said, is there any one person you'd want to play? I knew who it was. I said, Michelle Darnell. I love her, and I want to be able to tell her, whole story.
What drives Michelle?
I think initially it's two things. I mean, I think on the surface it's money and power and not ever having to rely on anyone else. And I think what fuels that is being unloved as a child. I think being sent back by, not only given up by her parents, but being rejected by foster parent after foster parent. And I think there's something interesting to someone about people who were not nurtured and loved. I think when people had no one to listen to them, no one to love them, you tend to build up a wall. And then you start saying, I don't need anyone. And I never quite buy that when people say, like, I don't need anyone else. I just need me. I always think, no one really does that. Like, I'm so opposite. I mean, I want my friends, my family, my dog, my parents, I want everybody. So I'm really personally fascinated when someone claims to not need anyone. I always think at some point something triggered that. Something hurt you so badly that you went, no one's going to hurt me again. So to have those two opposing things playing of super confidence and at some point, what are you ever going to show how vulnerable you are? I think when you get to play that spectrum, you're in a good range.
Now, do you think Michelle Darnell would be a Trump admirer?
No, I do not. No, I do not. You know why? Because she is as brash and as unapologetically confident as she is. I also think her bottom line is building people up. I mean, her motto in the beginning in that big seminar when she comes down out of Phoenix, her message in the thing she's selling to those people is, if you want it enough, if you're willing to work for it, you can do it. She's actually saying, you can do it. You can be this. Everyone can achieve this. She's not working to the negative and fear-based stuff. She's saying, if you're willing to, put in the work, you can have it.